Once night draws down, dreams dance around, sea breezes blow the dark away. Dawn's eye does rise over the sea and gift life another day. Where warm I lay, quilted down, held tight by desire to remain, alarms arrive and perch on wires, stake claim to their domain. From the homestead here, high up the stern, a valley drops below the decks. On port and starboard, across the bow, the bush cuckoo performs a last check. First to the stage, a melancholy pair it is we have to thank, with jolted carol and stuttered growl, a red motor trying to crank. Blue curtains rise for the troubadour, a Clyde without his bonny. Not a bad attempt, this courtship call, next year he won't be so scrawny. The last to sing the main event, a matriarch, her man bedecked. One looks up and one looks wide, then both do genuflect. She opens up and rolls her vows, he cackles in cacophony. In discord there is unison, they're singing for their sovereignty. I see rivers of gravy with hippopotami floating by, feasting on French fries piled high as the sky. I see batter convulsing in cauldrons of fat, and hyenas laughing while dodging the splat. I see barrels of whiskey, naughty monkeys at play, the older they are, earlier in the day. I see a carnival circus for midgets and beasts, and the monkey survives while Hermes does feast. I see flamencos flaunting their fastidious flail, and the peacocks are pricked, perched hot on their tail. I see a young buck 'tis cockhold, the deer down on his luck, abruptly preparing to fight Juson's fuck. I see joeys and hatchlings riding hot on the heel, as their nature is nurtured a little more with each meal. I see more than the joeys, they don't notice much, eyes down in their hands, clinging on to their crutch. I see sedulous squirrels meeting the maker's demands, running after the beast as the food falls from their hands. I see migratory birds stop to rest at the hole, casting view from above as they enjoy the cajole. My first great love is backyard ornithology, Eukarya, Animalia, not from the sea. I am a lover of all those whose domain is the sky, and my particular favourite is the not at all humble magpie. I don't restrict myself, although I do like them best. I also attach to many others who rear from the nest, and it is from the beak of another avian which signals the start of each day when the bush monarch arrives, bride in tow, to say good day. Well, it's not so much a cordial greeting the bush cuckoo yodels overhead. It's more like a hand siren demanding me, get out of bed! But if I'm too cosy, I stay warm, wrapped in quilted down. Then the encore performance begins and resonates all across town. I stumble to the bathroom through the black and white time of day, have a shower, get dressed, then slowly make my way to the kitchen from the chamber, and I do hear a rapping. But I know who it is that's tap, 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 tapping at my kitchen door. Not a depressed raven with a message of love that did end. No, rapping at my window is a checkered, charming little friend. And behind him in waiting is his mum and his dad, and they sing for their supper, for which I am glad, to provide them provisions of perfunctory ground beef, making sure I first always look after their chief. Then throughout the day there'll be visits from the bush turkey and the honey eaters, pale-headed rosellas and butcher birds all gather round the feeders. An interesting fact. Did you know during the Depression the bush turkey came precariously close to facing extinction at our hands from being simmered into stew? And if life gets much tougher, as it likely will do, the bush turkey may find its way back to the menu. But none of what I just told you is what I wish to regale. No, what I wish to tell you is a more spurious tale. But it's not without reason. You see, the former precipitates that. I wish to talk of my second great love, to hose the neighbour's cat. It's always there. A sniper lurking in the trees. It's the axis of evil, live transport for fleas. I would kill it if I could, with a brick or a bit of wood. I'd smash its head down on a rock. What do you think? Maybe I should. I'd cut its bloody throat. I'd hit it on the head with a hammer. Then I would teach my son how to pull its skin off, in any which manner. But these things I can't do because of a risk they all pose to a breakdown in diplomacy, so at this stage my weapon's the hose. You see, I'm allowed to waterboard. That's not torture, you know. It's enhanced interrogation. If you leave the birds alone, I'll let you go. But the little prick deserves it. Puts Bin Laden to shame. A fallacious friend, this feline foe, and if I can't kill it, I'm going to maim. I once courted a beauty far out on the branch of a tree, riling in arrogance and hubris. I could see it, it couldn't see me. So I approached from the rear, my fatigues a terry-toweling cloak. Clutching my rifle, this little blighter was about to cop a soak. I waited until it finished its prowl, till it was precariously perched above a plummeting peril, and unloaded the hose on the flea-ridden feral. And like an initiation ceremony when you cross the equator on a boat, I sumped that bugger's rump, and beneath the tree formed a moat. So stuck out on the end of this branch, the little shit looked at me pleadingly. So I said to the cat, "There's only one way down from that tree." Then, with a timpani thud, a beautiful hollowed-out sound, gas-bagging and gasping, it fell to the ground. 8 more to go. But it ran back to its quarters to live and hunt another day, for it possesses an evolutionary determination which will never go away, but neither will mine my desire to serve and protect, so I keep the hose handy while I can't break its neck. And with a rite of passage, I sometimes hand over the rein. I'm also teaching my son to protect, just the same. Sometimes we'll spend hours behind the curtains or anywhere we can hide, for quickly the case militant fervour turns to pride. What once was defence has now turned to attack. When one can justify their behaviour, there is no turning back. Just last week I caught myself hiding in a tree, waiting like a sniper. The terrorist was now me. But approaching 0.1 tonne, the branch's braking strain was tested. In metres per second, gravity was vested. Then, with a timpani thud, a beautiful hollowed-out sound, I fell 15 long feet. My fat ass found the ground. Like a soldier, fallen, wounded, abode the battlefield, I caught sight of my enemy, not yet prepared to yield. And as the ambulance arrived, one all it was stated, I was off to the hospital, dejected, deflated. On crutches I returned, for my leg I did crack, so my son's on patrol with the hose out the back. But thanks for your ears, now you know of the first and the second, of my great loves, but the third airs an irony which is not easily reckoned. For my enemy's enemy is my friend and all that, and if you got us together and I sat down with the cat, I'd soon realise in the food web that no one's a winner. My third great love is roast chicken for dinner.